Hey there, Tatyana. It's Andrew here once again, ready to correct these two essays that are currently outstanding. Let's dive straight in so that we can move forward in the course. So nowadays, travelling for pleasure and work has become, let's say, increasingly popular. Talking about trends, something, if it is a trend, it must either be increasing, decreasing, fluctuating, or remaining consistent. So rather than just referring to the trend, talk about what the trend is. So it has become increasingly popular. I would say here, although some individuals firmly believe in the advantages of travel, others feel that the disadvantages outweigh others feel that the negatives outweigh the positives. Just a little more expansion necessary. This essay will examine some of the pros and cons of travelling locally as well as globally. On the one hand, we should have a "the" here. On the one hand, travelling provides, let's say, memorable experiences. Travelling provides memorable experiences in exploring new places and countries. So this is an overstatement. This is because endless means infinity, and there is no such thing in nature as infinity. So nothing can be endless. Everything ends. Sorry to be a downer, but what we could say here, this sentence should be replaced with something that gives more detail into your argument. Like the range of experiences achieved through taking vacations are of immense value to many people. Case in point, luxury cruises around the Bahamas this sentence seems to have been used just to use words. What we need is a bit more of an argument. So if we're talking about whether travel is positive or negative, if this paragraph is about the positives of traveling, what we need to express, what we need to get down to, is why it's positive. What are the positive consequences? Here, we've really just described a few different sort of examples and descriptions of travel. And what this paragraph should be is an exploration of the advantages of travelling around. So now I would say some of the advantages of travelling around are more varied experience, more contact with other cultures, leading to increased knowledge, better understanding of the world. What else can we talk about in the positives of travelling? Increased international opportunities. So instead of only seeing job opportunities and only meeting people in your local area, we have increased opportunities to work around the world. If we meet people in other countries, we may develop professional or personal relationships with them. So my advice here would be to make sure that your body paragraphs focus on the argument. So this one needs to concentrate on the positives. So this one now is about the negatives. Let's have a see. On the other hand, travelling comes with, let's say, some negative effects. Firstly, the increasing traffic on roads and in the air increases, we don't want to use increases twice actually, so increasing traffic on roads and in the air raises, that's what it, so there should be an A there and an S there, raises the levels of pollution. Consequently, severe disruptions to the human and animal worlds are felt. Furthermore, congestion and a higher number of road accidents are reported daily as a result of an increased number of people travelling. Moreover, additional hours spent on the road expand the working day and detracts from personal and family time. So another point that I would make is, in an academic paragraph, we're only supposed to have one idea. So I get that the idea here is to explore the negative sides of travelling, but to just keep listing negatives, different negatives, is not quite within the academic format. What we should do is choose one negative and explore it fully. And we do that by using about 4 sentences. The first sentence should introduce the topic that you're talking about. The second sentence should give the specifics of your argument. The third sentence should support your argument with evidence, so an example from the real world or some statistics or data that back up what you're saying. And then the final sentence of the paragraph should explain how all of that relates back to the question that you were asked. In this way, we show that our ideas and our opinions have credibility, that they are based on evidence and not just thoughts. So while you have gotten the general idea here about going positives and negatives, we need to make sure that we keep it to one idea per paragraph. And explain it fully. So in conclusion, it is clear that travelling comes with both negatives and positives, and heavily impacts human life, the animal kingdom, I would say impacts human life and the animal kingdom. And then I would say, personally, I encourage people to travel, as I believe it provides a multitude of valuable experiences which will improve life in a significant manner. So we want to get down to reasons. What are the positives, what are the negatives, and what are the reasons behind them? What are the effects? What are the consequences for the future? But let's focus on producing arguments with only 2 ideas. So we introduce the topic here and give our opinion. Then we explain one side of the argument, focused on a single example. And then we explain the other side of the argument, focused on a single example again. And then we conclude and we answer the question fully. So let's move on to your bird flu one. So, in these essays, it's very important to be objective and to describe the graph accurately. So we don't give any opinion and we don't give any extra information. So let's have a go. The bar graph shows the number of individuals affected by bird flu, so we can get rid of this, on a global scale. So what we could say, the graph shows the number of individuals affected by bird flu. I'll tell you what, I'll correct this one along with my speech. globally. Over a period of 10 years. So this would be divides. And this is axis, not ax. So at the beginning of the period, approximately 122,000 individuals were infected. While, we could just reduce this to that, while in 2000 it reached the peak of around 175,000. There is visible growth throughout the period. Here we should use a semicolon. So at first, the numbers change every second year, while around the middle of the period, growth is visible every, let's say, each year, so we're not repeating ourselves because we said every there. For instance, 120,000 casualties were recorded during the first 2 years, followed by 133,000 in both 1992 and 1993. The figure rose dramatically from 93 to 97 to reach the highest point. Interestingly, it gives opinion. We don't know whether people will find it interesting or not. So what we can say here is notably, as in to take note, notably, an insignificant fall is seen in 1999, but it, let's say, an insignificant fall in 1999, but the number of patients returns to the previous value in 2000. Overall, the World Health Organization indicates significant growth in the number of worldwide bird flu casualties. And then I'd leave that there, actually. So you see, I didn't actually have to make very many changes, but it runs much smoother now. So correct your own essays, work through them, use this recording to make the changes yourself, and this will help you to spot your mistakes and make them less in the future. But I will now send you your next questions. I'm very pleased with your progress so far, and let's see if we can get you up to that band 7 very, very quickly. All the best, Tatyana. See you soon.